Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we have another Patreon request coming from Bladed Thesis. He's the only person so far who's ever actually suggested me any tracks through Patreon. A little while ago he gave me a list of about 4 or 5 artists and songs that he wished for me to look into, so I think this is the last one off the list, but we're going to be looking at Kamelot, spelt with a K. Now, I have heard of Kamelot before, but I don't believe I've ever actually heard any of their music. I could be mistaken. You know, they have been around for a while, but I don't think I've heard any of their music before. So, as is my norm, if I'm looking at a band I'm not familiar with, I do some research, and what I can tell you is Kamelot is an American power metal band from Tampa, Florida, formed by Thomas Youngblood in 1987. So they have been around for quite some time. They're a very well established band by the sounds of things. Norwegian vocalist Roy Khan joined for the album Siege Perilous and shared songwriting credits with Youngblood until his departure in April of 2011. So he was with the band for quite some time, apparently. On June 22nd, 2012, Youngblood announced on their website that their new vocalist would be the Swedish singer Tommy Karavek. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Who was first featured on Kamelot's album Silverthorn as the main vocalist, co-songwriter and lyricist. As of 2023, Kamelot has released 13 studio albums, 3 live albums, 2 live DVDs and 20 music videos. Now, today we're going to be looking at a track called March of Mephisto, featuring Shagrath from Dimmu Borgir. Now, obviously, I'm very familiar with Dimmu Borgir, and I've mentioned before, you know, black metal is a very hit-and-miss thing with me, but I do enjoy listening to Dimmu Borgir. So that should be interesting. I have some lyrics here, which we shall look at after we've checked out the music video. And today I've got myself some new headphones. I got myself some Raycons, not a sponsor, unfortunately. So I'm not sure how well these are going to work, because this is the first time I'm going to be using them. So we'll jump into this and see what we've got. So this is The March of Mephisto by Kamelot. Let's have a look. Well, there we go. Short but sweet piece of music there. Now, when it comes to power metal, again, I have a similar to black metal. I have a very sort of hit and miss relationship with power metal. I have to be in the right sort of mood to listen to power metal, but this was very, very good. You know, I really enjoyed it. I tend to find when it comes to power metal, there doesn't seem to be much sort of variance in vocal styles. It's always got that sort of higher pitched sort of sung vocal, and there isn't much variance in the sound of it, you know. But I mean, saying that, I love bands like Blind Guardian. You know, I think Blind Guardian are an absolutely amazing band, you know, and again, they have the similar sort of higher pitched, I don't want to say wailed vocals, but you know what I mean. But, you know, I quite like this, and the little addition of Shagrath, you know, he wasn't, like, overbearing, because, you know, Shagrath already has a very powerful voice, you know, and his growl, death / black metal vocal style is very, very impressive. So, you know, his vocals were actually a lot more subtle in here. You know, obviously they still consisted of his deep, growled, guttural vocals, but, you know, it wasn't overpowering the rest of the music. So, yeah, it was quite a good piece of music. I quite enjoyed it, actually. I would have to probably investigate Kamelot a little bit more to see what they're like in their normal style of music. But, like I said, power metal is one of those ones I have to be in the right mood to listen to. But I did enjoy this piece of music. Now, March of Mephisto. Mephisto is one of the chief demons in German mythology, I want to say. But I don't know that much about Mephisto, so I can't really tell you what he might be the demon of. And whilst we were watching the video, I tried to look up Mephisto, and all I found was Mephisto, or Mephistopheles, is one of the chief demons in German literary tradition. And that's all it tells me. It doesn't tell me what he is a demon of, or, you know, yeah. So that wasn't very helpful. So the lyrics, as they go, you know, there isn't actually that many of them. Like I said, it was actually quite a short track. It says, "You know just who I am. Don't be so distant, 'cause when you're lost, I am solely there to share your grief." So is that the demon saying, you know who I am? I'm like one of the chief demons, you know. Don't shy away from me, because, you know, when you're sitting there lost, alone, and miserable, I'm the one that's going to be sitting by your side, helping you feel shite. Was that what you're saying? You know, because when you're lost, I am solely there to share your grief. Share your grief? That sounds like someone being supportive. Or is he being supportive, going, yes, I know everything's bad, but if you go and do this, you know, sort of causing mischief, you know, if you do what I tell you to do, then, you know, maybe things will perk up, you know. He might be embroiling a less than savoury plan, maybe. Wailing your sorrow is only my way to comfort you. Reminders of innocent youth. And that line there, reminders of innocent youth, is done by Shagrath in his deep gutturals. Waiting for morrow, you're lonely, I name your solitude. I speaketh the truth, again said by Shagrath. So, wailing your sorrow is only my way to comfort you. So, you know, is he saying, you know, like, your misery, me telling you your misery is my only way to make you feel better about yourself, you know? And I don't know. Waiting for morrow, you're lonely, I name your solitude. Again, so he seems to be almost enhancing the person's misery and then sort of saying, you know, like, I'm telling you all of this, but it's making you feel better. That's what it sounds like he's saying, anyway. Now tell me all about your pain, down to the detail. Don't say it's love. Your fragile heart feeds my contempt. Again, this is a demon that's feeding off someone's misery and sorrow. So he's like, tell me about your pain down to the last detail. He wants to hear each excruciating detail of how this person is feeling. So he's feeding off this person's misery. You know, don't say it's love, you know. I'm not sure what that is. It's like, are you feeling miserable because you have love for someone? Or, you know, I don't know. It's very confusing. Then it goes back into that chorus, again featuring Shagrath saying, wailing your sorrow is only my way to comfort you, reminders of innocent youth. Waiting for morrow, you're lonely, I name your solitude, I speaketh the truth. Chase the heathen call, we belong, you and I, unison in all you deny. I have no idea. Then back into that chorus again. Wailing your sorrow is only my way to comfort you. Reminders of innocent youth. Waiting for morrow, you're lonely. I name your solitude. I speaketh the truth. I am the thorn in your side that seeks accomplishment, reminding the mortal of death. I am the spore of your pride, an angel heaven sent, the master of all. I am the urge of the flesh. So, like, in this song, it seems that Shagrath is being the voice of Mephisto, which kind of makes sense, really, because of the sort of demonic sort of presence of Mephisto and the vocal style of Shagrath sort of fitting that. And he's the one that's sort of interjecting between each line, you know, like saying reminders of innocent youth and I speaketh the truth, reminding the mortal of death and the master of all, you know. So he's sort of, there's this person who's suffering and miserable, and then there's this demon going, tell me everything that's making you miserable down to the last detail. I feed off your grief, and I'm using that to sort of warp your mind by the sounds of things, you know. Wailing your sorrow is my way to comfort you, reminders of innocent youth. So he's like taking this person's misery and then sort of reminding them of how great their life used to be. So he seems to be like he's forcing them to be more miserable. And he's saying, I speak the truth. You know, it's a common thing for demons. You know, they're sort of manipulative, and they're like, you know, I'm telling you all these bad things that are making you miserable, but what I'm telling you is the truth. Sort of like whispering to someone's ear, you know, everybody hates you, you're worthless, you know, why don't you go and do this, that, and the other, and like get back at them, get revenge on them, or something like that. I am the thorn in your side that seeks accomplishment. So I'm the thing that's causing you misery. I'm the thing that is like causing you irritation, reminding the mortal of death. So it's like, yeah, if you don't do anything, you know, you just, that sort of thing. I am the spore of your pride, an angel heaven sent. So the spore of your pride, you know, is that like an infection to his pride, you know, sort of breaking it down, sort of like infesting his pride with self-doubt sort of thing. An angel heaven sent, again, this is the manipulative side of the demon sort of saying, you know, like, I'm an angel, I'm here to look after you, but really he's sort of going, right, I want to make you more miserable because I feed off that makes me more powerful, you know, and says that the master of all. So it's like, the more you feed me, the more powerful I'm going to get, and then I'll become the master of all of your emotions, and, you know, I will control you through your misery sort of thing. I don't know. And I mean, that's it, you know. It's like I said, it's a very short song. I think it's barely even 4 minutes. But it's a good piece of music. I quite like it. And like I said, you know, I'm very picky about when I listen to power metal because, you know, I have to be in the right sort of mood for it. And when I looked up the band, it said, you know, they're power metal, but it also said progressive metal and symphonic metal. Now, I do like me some symphonic metal, as we've mentioned before. And, you know, progressive metal, I've listened to quite a lot of that. And again, I'm very picky with progressive metal as well, because, you know, there's some that's just unnecessarily overly complicated and fret wanky, which is what I call it, you know, when they just make it way more technical and fiddly than it needs to be. You know, it's just like the guitarist showing off, going, look what I can do. I don't think that adds anything to the music personally, you know, and I just find it pretentious a little bit. So, you know, I'll be interested to hear something else by them, which is maybe a bit more along the prog side. You know, I'm all for listening to the sort of power metal, but I'd like to hear more variants from the band. I'd like to investigate all different avenues of this band to get an overall picture of who they are. But this piece of music, it was very, very good, you know, and I like the mixture between those sort of clean power metal vocals and Shagrath's sort of death/black metal guttural vocals, you know, like the conversation between the man and the demon that's tormenting him. So, you know, quite a good piece of music. I like it. I mean, the video was like from 16 years ago, I think it was, you know, so it was a pretty low quality video, but you still got the basic idea of what was going on. So yeah, I quite like that. That was pretty decent. Again, something different for me to look at. You know, I've said before, you know, I started doing this music channel because I love music and I wanted to discover new bands. You know, I wanted to discover new bands and maybe help other people discover new bands. And, you know, and over the 5-6 years I've been doing this, I've had numerous new bands suggested to me that I've never even heard of before, some that I have heard of before but maybe not listened to. You know, so I love discovering new music, and this is another one that really caught my attention. And like I said, I'd like to explore them further to find out all the different nuances throughout their music. But yeah, I don't know what else I can say on that, so we'll leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or a subscribe, because it really would help the channel out. And like I said before, you know, I've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years, and, you know, I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos, and they're just sort of disappearing into the algorithm, and people aren't getting to see them, and, you know, people who are watching them aren't liking and subscribing. You know, a very small percentage of the people watching my videos are actually subscribed. And, you know, as such, my videos are just sort of disappearing. They're not getting suggested to people, which is kind of disheartening because, like I said, I've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years now. So, you know, a like and subscribe would really help me out. You know, it doesn't cost anything. It takes a fraction of a second, and it really does help the channel out. But that's all I've got for you today. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.